Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Grand Theft Auto 5 video, I'm going to be talking to you guys about the top 10 things I do not want to see in the Grand Theft Auto Online Gunrunning DLC. So I got a question the other day from Christian Thompson that was, what is the one thing you don't want to see in the Gunrunning DLC? And I thought this was a pretty good question, so I actually asked you guys on Twitter. I said, what are some vehicles, what are some weapons, what are some things you just don't want to see added into the update? And the best things might get featured in the video, and that's exactly what's going to happen right now. So I'm going to be going over the top 10 things that I agree with and things that you guys have tweeted at me too. So this is in no particular order, but I am going to start with the things that I think we can agree on the most, and that first one is LJT. So Long John Teabag was introduced with the Bikers update, and I'm convinced that he calls me about 67 times per day. I don't know why LJT calls me so much. I don't use the biker stuff really ever. We got a funny response from Matt who says, I want to do a mission to assassinate LJT. I could get behind you there. Even if it meant never being able to do the biker stuff again, the fact that he has called me so much and so frequently over the last, basically 6 or 8 months has just been way too overkill. So I am in agreement with you there. LJT, I think, needs to go, or at least an option to turn him off, but I definitely don't want to see him in the Gunrunning DLC. The number 2 spot, the servers going down. So I don't know if you guys remembered on the day Import-Export came out, but the servers were awful. PSN, Xbox 360, Xbox One, PC. It was Rockstar's cloud servers became unavailable. It was just a massive mess. And it really prevented a lot of players from getting on in those initial hours and enjoying the content. But it also caused a lot of issues as well in terms of buying items, not receiving them, losing money. So I hope that it is a much smoother launch this time around, and that when you jump onto your console or your PC, you're simply just able to play it. And I don't think it was an issue of too many people being on the servers. I just think it was Rockstar servers literally just, crapping out a little bit. So hopefully that does not happen this time around. At the number 3 spot, having the Gunrunning missions locked to public sessions. So I can almost guarantee you that this is going to be the case just based off of what Rockstar's done with bikers, the finance and felony stuff, and the import-export stuff. But my hope is that one day they will allow us to do the selling and buying of whatever we're going to be doing in invite-only or crew sessions or friend sessions, because public sessions are griefers' paradises, and especially with all the new content that we're likely going to be getting, can you imagine how hard it's going to be to buy and sell some of this stuff? I just think it's going to be absolutely crazy. So my wish is that we get to do it in invite-only sessions, but it's Rockstar. We probably know that that isn't going to happen, but we can dream and we can certainly hope. The number 4 spot, overpriced items. So I can certainly get behind this. I know everyone's biggest fear is jumping into this update and not having enough money to really buy any of the things you need in order to get started. So I hope that Rockstar is pretty generous here in terms of how they price things. I definitely expect items to be in the range of a couple $1 million, $3 to 4 to 5. But if we see anything over that, like in the $6 or $7 million range, that's when things can get a little bit interesting. And that's when you'll start seeing people get upset about how expensive everything is from this Gunrunning update. At the number 5 spot, overpowered vehicles. So a lot of you guys made comments that said you don't want the vehicles to be overpowered. Now, I don't know what you guys think is overpowered. Does that mean having like a bunch of miniguns or turrets attached to certain vehicles, or the armor capacity of certain vehicles, or jets or helicopters that can roam the sky and destroy everything? I want to say it's a good mixture of really both right there, and I'm kind of in agreement. I want the vehicles to be fun and enjoyable and certainly powerful, but I don't want them to be like the end-all be-all as far as what you see across every single lobby, because they're just that dominant. I feel like Rockstar really needs to balance the vehicles particularly well in this update, not only performance-wise, but also how they impact free mode sessions, which you know is going to be a really big deal with this update. Moving right along, at the number 6 spot, overpowered weapons. So I can get behind this too, because that seems to be what happens in games like first-person shooters, where you've got like 30 different weapons, but when it comes time to getting kills and what the pros use in matches, it's typically 1 to 2 guns. And I don't want to see that happen to online, where everyone just uses the brand new weapon because it's either an insta-kill or it can destroy your vehicles instantly. I'd rather see see Rockstar have creatively overpowered weapons instead of, just super easy to use overpowered weapons. So what I mean by that is it's okay to make it overpowered if it's, incredibly difficult to use, or if it's a weapon that, only connects on 1 out of every 5 shots. Well, I can see that being overpowered. I don't want something to be, super good, super easy to use, and very overpowered. It's kind of hard to explain, and there's a lot of different types of weapons that we could be talking about here, but I'm in agreement here. Overpowered weapons need to not be a thing. At the number 7 spot, this one was interesting. I saw this one. It was armored supercars. So I don't know if Rockstar is going to venture down that line. In fact, I don't even know if supercars are going to be featured in the Gunrunning DLC. They might actually be left out of this one. But yeah, armored supercars would be a little bit too much of the best of both worlds here. I think that what makes the armored vehicles we have in the game currently so good is that there's some weaknesses and some strengths to both of them. But if you give a supercar Kuruma armor or Duke of Death armor, you really are playing with fire there, because not only do you get performance in terms of its speed and handling, but you also get the protection as well. So I don't think Rockstar would do that. I think the closest we're going to get is the Kuruma, which is a pretty okay sports car in terms of our armored capability, and the Duke of Death as well, which is that menacing muscle car. So yeah, I'm with you there. I don't think armored supercars need to be a thing that we have in this update. The number 8 spot, a high setup cost. So I can get behind this too, because with the Bikers update, it was a little less expensive. The MC clubhouses weren't that bad, and then if you wanted to buy like 1 or 2 businesses, it wasn't bad. But for like the import-export stuff and the finance and felony stuff, the offices were pretty expensive. The warehouses you had to buy were pretty expensive. Now, granted, I bought like way too many at the start, because I thought that I would like need 5 to really get everything going, but that wasn't really the case. So maybe it's just more of like a hindsight is 2020 thing, and that you don't have to buy as much at the start as you think. But yeah, I certainly don't want to see like a crazy amount of things you need in order to get started. My guess is that it's going to be a bunker and then maybe some warehouses to go along with it, and hopefully they won't be that expensive. If it stays under $5 or $6 million, I'll likely be happy, but anywhere over that and you're getting into a pretty pricey range. At the number 9 spot, aircraft carriers. So this is something I've talked about in previous videos. I want Rockstar to utilize the aircraft carriers in missions, because I do think that could be pretty fun. And if there was like a gun running mission that required us to go on the aircraft carrier and steal some cargo and bring it back, that would be cool. But if you were to see 13 aircraft carriers floating around the outside of the San Andreas Island, that would be a little extreme. That's no longer a bunch of aircraft carriers. That's called a blockade. So I don't think that makes sense. The yachts do make sense because they're just personal super boats, but all these massive aircraft carriers, and Rockstar haven't even used them really all that much in the game regardless. So I wouldn't see them allowing us to like finally get them in online. However, that's what they did with the yachts. The yachts were never used outside of like 1 or 2 missions, and then we got them in the Executives and Other Criminals DLC. So we really just have to wait and see. And finally, last but not least, at the number 10 spot, allowing the low ranks to compete as well. I don't want to see this update only cater to super high ranks. So right now, if you were like to jump into Grand Theft Auto Online as a level 1, it'd be really intimidating. Everyone would have properties, everyone would have all the weapons, you wouldn't. So I'm hoping that with this update, if someone jumps onto the game for the first time, they won't feel like they're at a super disadvantage compared to everyone else, where there's like level locks or things they simply can't do because they're at a certain rank. So I hope that this update is usable for everyone, and that it doesn't just cater to like the level 250 plus with all the super high-tech military gear. But anyways, that's really everything I'm going to be talking about for you guys in this video today. Those are the top 10 things I do not want to see added in the Grand Theft Auto Online Gunrunning DLC. Let me know your thoughts, opinions, and more in the comments section down below. What are some things that you do not want to see added in the Gunrunning update? I'd love to hear from you guys down there. If you did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would of course be awesome. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you like daily GTA 5 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.